Interesting.
His work spans every continent and has been featured on television and in print, Discovery, Nat Geo, Vice, and others. He recently returned from Mogadishu, the most dangerous city on earth, where he shadowed the heroic El Mahmoud women on their quest to clean up the streets and restore humanity to their war-torn country. I present to you Sam Hyde.
His name was released as Sam Hyde.
Not much is known about Sam Hyde's early life, but what we do know is that Samuel Whitcomb Hyde was born on the 16th of April 1985 in Fall River, Massachusetts. He was then raised in Wilton, Connecticut and attended Wilton High School until 2003. At some point, Sam's mother and father split up, leaving Sam to be raised by his mother. As a youngster, Sam would enjoy playing video games and was said to be very good at art, so he attended the Rhode Island School of Design, where he studied fine art and animation, getting a bachelor's degree in 2007. This education would cost his father $250,000, but Sam says that college was a waste of time. After leaving education, Sam would jump from job to job until he founded a comedy troupe named $1 Million Extreme, which would change his life forever. Sam co-founded $1 Million Extreme with Charles Carroll, who believes that nukes are not real and the videos of nuclear tests are done using miniature model homes, and Nick Rochefort, who is surprisingly good at impressions and, for me at least, is the unsung hero of $1 Million Extreme, with him being the funniest one of the three in my opinion. In 2009, the comedy troupe would set up a YouTube channel to upload comedy skits. This channel has now been removed from YouTube, so it's a little tricky to get the exact timeline here, but I'll do my best. One of the seemingly earliest videos that I could find was a comedy Christian rap song with a fresh-faced Sam rapping about how Jesus was his homeboy. $1 Million Extreme's brand of comedy is hard to put your finger on. Their sketches can be bizarre, chaotic and difficult to understand, but they seem to deal with important themes. It's just difficult to know exactly what point they're trying to make. And maybe that's the point. Their sketches being open to interpretation would intrigue many, but would ultimately become their downfall. Sketches about racism within the police would at first seem like left-wing talking points, but as the sketch goes on, the lines begin to blur until viewers are left wondering what is being said. MDE would gain a small but very loyal base of fans that would grow and grow as the years went on. Sam seems to have been the focal point for MDE, and their comedy was on the internet at a time before censorship had really taken hold, so their edgy brand of humour would gain more and more attention.
What's up, my bros? What's up, my bros? What's up, my bros? Yo, what's up, YouTube? Check out my cool contest. I love YouTube, and I love contests. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of cool contests out there for kids like us. LOL. Like, make a 15-second video saying why you think Stride Gum's the best gum to chew. Or make a 15-second video saying why you think Coke Zero's the best drink to drink.
Sam would branch out and start making other kinds of videos alongside the MDE comedy skits, taking his ambiguous comedy to the real world, like turning up the day after a BLM protest and pretending to be an over-exaggerated version of the white members of BLM, lecturing people on how bad they are and how good he is. Sam would also start doing reviews for crappy Kickstarters, which then led to him doing his own Kickstarter for a My Little Pony dating game, which he needed $7,500 to make. Sam wasn't the only person doing Kickstarter reviews at the time, and the My Little Pony game caught the eye of a well-known YouTuber named iDubbbz, who would review it. Sam did a copyright claim on iDubbbz's video and emailed him to say that he would release the claim if iDubbbz sends him a video of him squatting 2 plates on each side. iDubbbz never sent this, so the video remained claimed by Sam, but this incident would crop up years later and prove to be helpful for Sam. Mr. Hyde would also start to do presentations to unsuspecting audiences. In one of these presentations, he would attend something called a Twitter comedy night. Straight away sounds like a fun night out. Sam then got on stage and proceeded to read homophobic statements in a very dry and matter-of-fact way for 10 minutes. Along the way, people would heckle him and walk out, and after the show, the crowd outside would berate him and tell him to jump off a bridge. In another presentation, he attended an anime convention where he pretended to be a master swordsman who invented a new form of dubstep called Armageddon Step. He then asked the crowd if Japanese people have souls and passed around a greasy cardboard box for donations. As expected, people would walk out of this talk that he was giving. In another presentation at a university, he mixes left-wing and right-wing talking points so that the students are confused whether they are allowed to laugh or not. He then tells them that their hopes for the future won't come true and that their education is pointless. This goes on for a very long time until people start walking out with Sam insulting them on the way out. By far the most famous example of this was when Sam gave a talk at TEDx at Drexel University. Sam must have given them enough buzzwords to be allowed on stage, but sadly they didn't know what they were letting themselves in for. Sam walks on stage dressed like a Roman gladiator who now lives in Compton and tells everyone in the audience to give themselves a pat on the back. This TEDx talk is titled 2070 Paradigm Shift and deals with how Sam sees the future going. He predicts that the world will end in 5 years if we don't fix pollution and war. He then speculates some of the things that he thinks could help save the world are sea-floor farming, using cubes of trash as money, replacing cities with pleasure domes for the rich, and that men will be genetically modified to produce milk as there will be a great milk shortage. The whole thing is very absurd, with Sam being unable to stop himself laughing many times.
I'm Sam Hyde. I'm an important thinker. I'm a creator, innovator, artist, idea. And that same sense of by my calculations, we have 5 years until the world ends. Unless we can start to reverse things like pollution and war. Pollution, war, these are big problems. Fix it, now!
This TEDx talk was a big hit for Sam and MDE, propelling them into the limelight. It was also around this time that another thing started to happen that would make Sam more famous. MDE had accumulated a core fan base made up of edgy internet trolls, so his fans started to contact news outlets every time there was a mass shooting claiming that Sam had done it. They would send in photos of Sam with a gun giving his name, and his face would appear on the news many times. One of the more notable times that this happened was when a congressman appeared on CNN after a mass shooting in Texas. The congressman said live on air that he had been informed that a man named Sam Hyde had committed the crime. What a silly Billy. Then a reporter named Frank, whatever this word says, tweeted to mock the congressman's mistake, pointing out that there is no such person as Sam Hyde. These are the people that we're meant to trust for our information. This has been done so much that the trolls even started to edit the photos of Sam to make him a woman and claim that Samantha Hyde was responsible for the crime. This became a meme across the internet, and on most videos about Sam, his fans will comment, "He can't keep getting away with this." MDE had been gently pestering the cable channel Adult Swim for about a year to try and get a program, but to no avail. Luckily, as their popularity grew, Adult Swim would begin to take notice. In 2015, Adult Swim commissioned a pilot for what would become known as $1 Million Extreme World Peace. Evidently, the pilot went well, with the first full episode being aired on the 5th of August 2016, with over 1 million viewers tuning in. The first episode had mixed reviews, with many fans disliking the amount of censorship that had been done. Things like the logo being replaced and the text that appeared between sketches being blanked out. Some of the reasons that Adult Swim censored the program was the $1 Million Extreme logo was taken from a notebook from mass to James Holmes, and a lot of the text contained politically incorrect themes. Despite the loyal fans disliking the censorship, the show was a big hit, with Sam claiming that Adult Swim higher-ups promised MDE 100 more episodes. The comedy troupe's brand of off-the-wall edgy humour had gone from a self-funded project on the internet to a big-budget mainstream success story. The show would deal with all kinds of topics, such as the futility of working in a poor school or a job that you hate, or reaching a stage in life where you feel you should have done better, which is demonstrated in a sketch about a depressed teacher. Other sketches would deal with things like medicating children or the decline of masculinity. Once again, the exact message of these sketches is hard to understand as they are very abstract and purposefully jarring. One of my favourite sketches is named The Wall. In this fever dream, the viewer is confronted with a dystopian dating show where two strange, grotesque British presenters are swinging on what looks like medical equipment while they are talking to the female contestants. All of these women are in wheelchairs and act extremely entitled, with them claiming to be queens. I guess you probably have to watch the sketch to understand why it's funny, but that's the kind of thing these sketches are. A dimethyltryptamine trip interrupted by nightmare goblins that enjoy ejaculating sulfuric acid into your eyes. But you kinda like it, so you invite the goblins back for round 2 next week. Around this time, Sam started to do stand-up comedy in much the same vein as his TEDx talk, the audience being the punchline. In one of these stand-up routines, he pretends to be a Trump supporter who likes to beat women with a belt. At the start, he comes off as a mindless Trump supporter, but as the bit goes on, the lines start to blur and what is actually being said becomes more unclear. After he finished his set, a feminist comedian goes on stage and starts to shout at Sam, spending a large part of her set telling him to get out. She then gets in Sam's face and starts to scream at him and poke her finger in his face. Sam then catches her arm and stands up, but the fight is split up and the female comedian gets back on stage and starts to tell Sam to get out again. The comedy trio would also release a book, the title of which I'm sure I can't say without being put on some kind of FBI watch list. In total, World Peace aired 6 episodes, all of which were pretty successful, but sadly this was at a time when a divisive orange man was elected to president and the left-wing media were out for blood involving anything they saw as right-wing. It would seem that the show's problems started with Sam's now deleted Twitter account, Night of Fire. He would mainly retweet things about race that he saw as hypocritical but others would view as not politically correct. This then caught the eye of a BuzzFeed reporter named Joe Bernstein. Joe, who is no stranger to writing contentious tweets, himself once tweeted, "A straight white man on the way to work tomorrow." On the 25th of August 2016, Joe released an article titled "The Alt-Right Has Its Very Own TV Show on Adult Swim." After this article, Joe and Sam would have a very awkward phone call which Sam recorded. The call was basically Sam trolling Joe and Joe trying to get Sam to say something incriminating. Sam does say that his comedy is not political and he just wants to be funny, but as is the case with Sam, it's hard to know if this is true or not. Sam then claims that his assistant manages his Twitter account. This claim seems like it was Sam just trolling Joe. Sam then tries to deflect by interviewing Joe, trying to get Joe to admit that he doesn't like working at BuzzFeed. This doesn't work, so Sam starts to insult Joe, claiming that no one will ever enjoy reading his articles and that Joe will never get a job at a notable outlet such as the New York Times. On a side note, Joe now writes for the style section of the New York Times. More and more articles were written by other outlets about the show, with Joe himself writing a few more, one of which would demand a reply from the Adult Swim parent company. And Joe's third article claimed that other performers at Adult Swim felt uncomfortable sharing a platform with MDE. The vultures were now circling and a fellow Adult Swim comedian named Brett Gelman would start to speak out, eventually leaving Adult Swim. Another comedian and friend of Gelman named Tim Heidecker would also get involved. Tim was a very anti-Trump comedian who was trolled into making a song about how much of a he is. That's not me being horrible, that's literally just what happened. Tim would tell his audience on his podcast to contact Adult Swim's advertisers and let them know how they felt about MDE World Peace.
You're listening and you hate this thing and you think it's evil, or you think that it's spreading messages of hate, misogyny, anti-Semitism, you know, you should speak out. You should go and let the advertisers know what you think.
Tim would claim that Sam's fans had threatened him and his family, but Sam claims that this was Trump supporters. On the 5th of December 2016, Adult Swim announced that they would not be making World Peace anymore. After they were cancelled, many of the people involved in making the show would disavow the show, claiming that they felt regret for working with this alt-right comedy troupe. the media would go into overdrive with outrageous lies and theories about the show, the Young Turks being the standout example. In one segment, the hosts were gloating about the show being cancelled, with one female presenter making it sound like MDE were pushing women into glass tables in real life. She is quoted to say, "They like to do these ridiculous pranks where if they found a woman to be unattractive, they would purposely trip her into a glass table." Now, I don't know how much of that is staged or how much of that is real. The sketch in question is clearly not real and is clearly filmed in a studio with actors and actresses, with nobody who ever watched the comedy sketch ever thinking that this was in any way real. Sadly, YouTube doesn't like words, so I'm going to need to speak in riddles for this next part. The National Socialist German Workers' Party are a pretty well-known totalitarian political party that ruled Germany in the mid-20th century, and their leader was a Charlie Chaplin appreciator. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. I'll refer to the people that admire this political ideology in the modern world as Neo-Germans. Claims that Sam was a Neo-German were now widespread on the internet, with many articles being written about how world peace had hidden Neo-German symbology laced throughout the show. I'll show some of these so that you can make up your own mind on what you think. Sam has denied this, saying that the idea is silly as they were nervous about getting their dream job and the last thing on their mind was putting hidden Neo-German symbols in the show. The other complaints about the show were a short skit called Jews Rock, which is a short song talking about how much they love Jewish people while everyone is dressed up like they're in a kids' TV show, and a sketch where Sam tells a Chinese kid that they should take good care of the place that white people built as it's their turn now. There is also an unaired sketch that wasn't part of the controversy, but I'll add it here just for context. In this sketch that was cut from the show, Sam is pushing a boulder up a hill, then stopping on people of different races so that they can thank him for all the things that white people have done for them. When he reaches the top, a Jewish man appears and asks where the boulder's gone, to which Sam says he isn't sure as he wasn't looking. The idea that Sam is a Neo-German is still widespread, and we'll look into both sides of this later on, but back to the story. Sam and MDE had now been blacklisted, meaning that they had no chance of ever working in mainstream again. Sam did get some support from left-wing people at this stage, most notably music reviewer Anthony Fantano, who would have Sam on his show to give an interview. This interview has now been deleted, with the pair no longer seeming to like each other though. It's a little hard to work out what went on here, but I think an article was written on Sam and Anthony's relationship, so Anthony backed away from Sam and deleted the interview. Take this with a pinch of salt though, as I'm not sure. Sam then made a diss track about Anthony, and the pair seemed to no longer be on good terms. MDE had been blacklisted from the mainstream, but at least they still had their loyal YouTube followers. Alas, in 2018 their YouTube and Reddit accounts were banned, which really marked the end of the comedy troupe. So they split up. Charles and Sam fell out, with Charles blaming Sam for destroying all their lives. Charles would go on to get a day job and stream on Twitch. Nick remained friends with both Sam and Charles and would open an antiques business. In interviews, Sam would try to spin the situation as a good thing, as the mainstream was on the decline and alternative platforms were on the rise. But clearly this was a big blow for Sam, and he was now cast to the shadows of the internet. Sam would set up Hide Wars, which was a subscription service where his most loyal fans could watch his latest content. He would still make comedy skits, but also started to make men's advice content, preaching a message of get good at something and your life will get better. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but over time Sam started to look like a homeless version of the famous communist Leon Trotsky. Just a weird little side note really. Sam had been banished to the shadow realm, but he still had young men that looked up to him, and soon he would gather a group around him, a team to help him get back to the big time. One of these young men is named Jet Neptune. Jet joined Sam's team to be an editor for some of his videos, but quickly became more than an editor and would appear on camera during Sam's live streams. When Jet was 16, he maybe started a shock gore site that gained some notoriety named World Corp. This is based off of Chit Chat Online, so I'm not sure if that's exactly correct or not. Another member of the team is a young rapper named Joey, spelled with 2 Y's on the end. Real name Joseph Green, he is a fairly well-known rapper in his own right and has also been known as Lil Kleenex and Joe XXY. Joey has his own crypto coin called One Man Token and has made skits and songs with Sam. The type of content that this team would do are things like deep frying $5,000 worth of collectible toys, then deep frying human excrement. This time period seems to have been a dark age for Sam, marked with fairly dull live streams and Sam trying unsuccessfully to become relevant again. Sam seemed destined to fade into obscurity, one of the many forgotten internet personalities who had their 15 minutes of fame and now were but a husk of their former glory. But this would all change when one day he was contacted by an unlikely saviour from his past. iDubbbz would travel out to Sam in order to film a documentary about him and what he's up to these days. iDubbbz would meet Sam's team in the office where they started off every day watching old Sam Hyde classics to get them in the mood to create magic. The team would then spitball ideas to get Sam back on top, things like videos of hot girls playing with Legos. After this productive brainstorming session, the team then repeated the chant, "Think it, dream it, do it." iDubbbz would then meet Sam's drug addict girlfriend who would flirt with iDubbbz. Sam then took iDubbbz to a dirty underpass where he showed him how to box, with iDubbbz not being very good at this. Over the next few days, iDubbbz would spend time in the office to see what the team were working on. This was mostly rap music, crypto trading and drinking alcohol. The climax of this documentary was when iDubbbz interviewed Sam. The optics of this interview set the tone for the whole documentary really, with Sam being large and overbearing while iDubbbz was more like a small naughty child, and both men seemed happy with their adopted positions. In this interview, iDubbbz would tell Sam that the reason that he came to make the documentary was because Sam copyright claimed him all those years ago, with Sam claiming that he doesn't remember this. Over the course of the interview, Sam would reveal that everything that had happened up until that point was a prank, with him hiring a fake office that used to be a dentist and smelt like toothpaste. His girlfriend was a paid actor and all of the things that his team were working on were fake. The day after the interview, the group went shooting and the mags kept falling out of the gun. Then on the last day, Sam gave iDubbbz a custom-made poster depicting unspeakable things so that he could remember his time with Sam. 9 months had passed and iDubbbz still hadn't uploaded the documentary, so Sam uploaded his version claiming that all of the things that he had done had cost him $15,000. Then, a short time later, iDubbbz released his version. Honestly, in my opinion, both of these documentaries weren't very good. The vibe between the two was very awkward, tense, distrustful, forced, and seemed like two big egos meeting, and they just didn't really get on very well. For me at least, the two people that came out best in these documentaries were Jet Neptune and a fake security guard that Sam hired, as they both seemed pretty down to earth. Another interesting part of the documentaries, I guess, was the difference in approach that both had towards their viewers. iDubbbz would break down the concept of post-ironic humour with a full presentation including flowcharts, while Sam kind of just let the people work it out for themselves. It would be interesting if iDubbbz's presentation was some kind of post-ironic joke, but I doubt it. After both documentaries aired, iDubbbz would get some backlash on the internet, with some claiming that he was just out to make Sam look bad. Honestly, I didn't get that from watching his documentary. iDubbbz set out to find out what made Sam tick, if he was indeed alt-right, and to try and understand his humour. Sadly, in all of these endeavours he failed, but I do think he showed what happened in a fairer way as he could. Whatever the case may be about iDubbbz's intentions in making his documentary, one thing was for sure. Sam was now back in the limelight, with both documentaries getting millions of views. At this stage, both seemed to be on good terms with each other, with Sam even making a video thanking iDubbbz for bringing attention back to him, as iDubbbz had a much bigger viewership. Sam even said that iDubbbz was brave for making the documentary, as Sam is a very controversial figure. Sadly, this gentlemanly conduct wouldn't last long between the pair. For those who are unsure who iDubbbz is, he used to be an edgy YouTuber who has now disavowed his edgy roots. Back when he was an edgy YouTuber, he had a rivalry with another YouTuber named RiceGum. Rice Gum would offer to box iDubbbz, but iDubbbz would decline these offers until one day he didn't, and iDubbbz set up a boxing match between the two. Sadly, Rice Gum would chicken out of this boxing match, but iDubbbz would decide to proceed using other YouTubers. He would use well-known YouTubers that people wouldn't expect to get in the ring, and the event was named Creator Clash, with all of the proceeds going to charity. Sam would try to get onto the card of this event by offering to fight Hassan Piker or Anthony Fantano, but unfortunately this didn't happen. Even though the pair seemed to be on good terms, when asked on a call, iDubbbz said that Sam would not be appearing on the card as Sam was a business risk, which upset some people on the internet. Sam did find a way to still be involved though. He would do a 2-week boot camp to train one of the fighters. This fighter was named Harley Morenstein, who is a well-known YouTuber from Epic Mealtime. Sam would also start to claim that iDubbbz got the idea for Creator Clash from the time that they boxed in the dirty underpass featured in the documentary. Leading up to the event, Sam would join a live with iDubbbz and ask him if he inspired his interest in boxing, to which iDubbbz said no.
I mean, I'm the guy that, iDubbbz, would you say that I inspired your boxing career?
No, you did not.
Okay, okay.
iDubbbz's wife would claim that Sam couldn't be on the card as half of the fighters would pull out of the event and that sponsors would also leave. The night of the big event came around and Sam had brought 5 tickets that cost him $10,000. But sadly, Sam was refused entry. Sam was promised that he would be refunded, with Sam claiming that iDubbbz had taken $10,000 out of the pockets of charities. Harley Morenstein won his fight and Creator Clash was a big success, raising over $1.3 million for charity, but Sam was unhappy with his treatment and started to do interviews claiming that iDubbbz's wife was Yoko Ono to his John Lennon. Sam would also start to claim that iDubbbz acted poorly when filming the documentary, stating that iDubbbz said that he is normally the puppet master and was upset that Sam was pulling all the strings while filming. At this stage, Sam had gained a lot of iDubbbz's disenfranchised fans who were looking for that edgy brand of comedy that iDubbbz had left behind. So the internet for the most part seems to have been on Sam's side for this saga. Sam did get his chance to show his boxing skills in the ring though. He was put on the undercard of a KSI fight where he would be fighting someone named I Am Thompson, who is a musician and YouTuber. Sam would create a new character for this fight named the Candyman. The Candyman was a loud-mouthed Irishman who was clearly modelled after Conor McGregor. He would trash talk his opponent and win a pretty convincing victory, then afterwards call out Hassan Piker, saying that he was going to kill him, not in the ring but in real life.
Got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that, Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house.
Or in the ring?
No, in real life.
I'm not sure why, but this moment really made me laugh. I guess it's the way the interviewer tries to clear up the fact that Sam just meant in the ring, but then Sam just says, no, in real life. Creator Clash 1 was such a big success that Creator Clash 2 was announced, with a YouTuber named Froggy Fresh being on the card. Froggy would spend 8 months training for this event, but then made the mistake of posting that he was also starting to train with Sam Hyde. Froggy then started to insult iDubbbz's wife. If you're wondering why people keep insulting iDubbbz's wife, a lot of people on the internet think that she is the reason that iDubbbz changed from his edgy ways. Plus she works on OnlyFans. Anyway, with 3 weeks to go until the event, Froggy Fresh was removed from the card. There's a lot more to the drama around this, but I can't be bothered to go into it as I find YouTube drama quite annoying, to be honest. Lots of people sticking their nose in so that they can get views on their channel, basically is how I see it. There are many videos on this drama, so go and watch those if you want to know more. The long and short of it all is that iDubbbz said that he didn't like his fans and that Froggy Fresh was banned due to him training with Sam. Sadly, Creator Clash 2 was a big flop, with the event losing $250,000 due to overspending, lack of promotion, and the fighters not being very well known, so no one really cared to watch them. Fish Tank Live is a reality show created by Sam Hyde and Jet Neptune, with Sam playing the host named Jason Goldstriker. 8 contestants are put into a house. They have their phones taken off them with no contact to the outside world allowed. They are then physically and mentally tormented for 42 days, with the contestants being eliminated along the way. At the end, one of these contestants will be crowned the winner and given the grand prize. There are cameras covering every inch of the house, with footage being live streamed directly to the internet. Over the course of the show, the contestants are put through odd ordeals and other people enter the house known as freeloaders. The freeloaders are generally interesting characters in their own right, bringing a personalised brand of chaotic energy in and out of the house. Along the way, contestants and freeloaders can earn what are known as fish bucks, with one fish buck equating to $500. The contestants are known as fish, but the house also has sharks. These are people that work for Sam and Jet, adding another layer of mischief into the fish's lives. The viewers of the show are just another trial for the fish to endure, as they can buy what are known as fish toys. Fish toys are tokens that the viewers can use to interact with the fish. The viewers can choose to be nice, like buying snacks or toys for the fish, or they can choose to be not so nice, like making the house really cold or really hot, or removing a fish's bed for the night. The viewers can also use fish toys to send text-to-speech messages to the fish, which, as you can imagine, were used to troll and insult the fish 24 hours a day. That's an overview of the premise for the show. I'll give you a brief summary of the important parts of the first season just so you get a flavour for it. But there are 2 seasons of a 24-hour live stream show, each lasting 42 days, so it would take hours to do a full breakdown of both. In season 1, most of the fish seem to be autistic and are given tasks such as counting grains of rice or looking after fake babies. They clearly weren't ready for parenthood, with some of them stealing each other's babies, arguing, and one of them shaking the little plastic toy until its soul went back to China. The show was a big hit from the get-go, with the website gaining 57,000 users on its second day. But sadly, the show wasn't all smooth sailing, with the live stream being cut early on. Jason Goldstriker tweeted that Google had blocked the site, but this was later revealed not to be the case. And Sam had just not realised the true cost of running the site, which was $30,000 every 3 days, while he thought it was $30,000 every month. So once he started to pay the bills, the show was back. Another problem for the show was with fish being led out one by the police. As is the tradition on the internet, the fans began to do some digging on the fish and found an odd book that was written by one of the contestants named Simmons. The book was titled Camp Counselor, American Dummy Guide, the controversial one. This book had some very questionable advice for the reader on topics such as the best way to have relationships with the children at the camp and avoid getting in trouble. Simmons had previously told the house that he used to be a camp counselor, so the contents of the book were very disturbing to the production team, and Simmons was kicked out of the house. Some other things of note that happened on the show was the entity who would roam the hallways while the fish slept and basically made sure that the fish didn't get a good night's sleep. A homeless man was also put into the house as a freeloader, but was thrown out for smoking white stuff. On the topic of freeloaders, one of these was named Frank Hassel. Frank is best known for being the man that went to Boogie 2988's home and got him arrested when Boogie fired a gun in the air to warn him away. Frank has a rather dashing 9/11 tattoo on his back for some reason, and is an agent of chaos who goes around smashing up the fish's personal possessions and just being not very nice to them. Frank mainly enjoys breaking stuff, but sometimes the fish would get their own back on him. Another freeloader of note was the well-known internet personality named Airsoft Fatty. He mainly enjoys setting off smoke alarms while he's cooking. He also wore some ill-advised war paint, likes to be naked a lot. The production team brought him a lady of the night, but she refused to do the dirty deed with him as he smelt like poo. And he is a pretty good singer. One time, Frank defecated into a red cup and gave it to one of the other fishes, who put it into a cupboard as a prank. This then sparked a mock trial to find out who did this degenerate act. Sadly, the trial ended in a hung jury, as Airsoft Fatty claimed that one of the ladies accused of the crime couldn't have committed this heinous act, as her poo was like rabbit poo, while the poo in question was more manly. I'm sure you have many questions here, but moving swiftly on. Sam also enjoys smashing up the house, and as time went by, the house would get more and more wrecked. It also became clear that most of the viewers for this show were young men, as fan clubs started to pop up around the attractive women in the house, with them using fish toys to buy them gifts. The show didn't go unnoticed by the local residents, and meetings were held to try and get the show stopped. Some of these were done on Zoom calls and were heavily trolled by the fans of the show. Towards the end of the show, Sam claims to have had contractors in to look at the damage of the home that they were renting, with the contractors saying that it would cost $60,000 to fully repair. Sam called the fish in for a meeting to let them know that due to this and other unforeseen costs, the show would have to end early. They then announced that a fish named Letty would be declared the winner, and the cameras were cut. Letty is the one with the rabbit poo, in case you were wondering. The show was over in an anticlimactic dribble of an ending, but after 45 minutes the cameras came back on and the announcement was made that a famous internet personality named Dr. Disrespect had donated enough money to keep the show going, so Letty had her prize money taken off her and the show continued. In the true climax of the show, the two remaining fish were put into a room for 4 days and would complete odd tasks such as jumping over fat people that are rolling all over the floor. These challenges would go on throughout the night in a grueling test of endurance, but at the end, the fan favourite Josie was declared the winner. Then Sam revealed the true climax of the show. It was all fake and he would not be paying any money to the winner, saying that he was a mastermind troll, and pointing out that the contract that they all signed stated that he didn't have to pay them any money. He then tells the viewers that he hates them and is sickened that anyone even watched this before walking out, leaving everyone in silence. Airsoft Fatty then tries to reason with Sam on behalf of Josie, but Sam starts to shout at him and screams for both of them to get out. Josie then walks back in and gives him a toy to sell on his website, to which Sam says, "So shines a good deed in a weary world." He then gets up and proclaims that Josie has won and he will be paying her. He then gives Josie $35,000 as the winner's prize and the runner-up Letty $20,000. Sam then addresses the fans to let them know that he doesn't hate them and that this really is the end. The show is just basically tormenting autistic people for over a month, but is weirdly wholesome, as they do get words of encouragement along the way, and most of the contestants seem to come out better on the other side. The adversity breeds resilience and strength thing, I guess. These once shy, never before tested people walk out of the house more confident, ready to take on the world. This is most obvious in season 2, which kind of felt like a rite of passage ceremony for the eventual winner, turning him from a boy to a man, and is pretty heartwarming, to be honest. I think I liked season 2 more than season 1. In season 2, Sam is a swamp cowboy and the whole thing is set in the 70s. Sam seems to have kept in contact with some of the fish after the show and is helping one of the fish with his YouTube channel named John Tent. Season 3 is planned at some point, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Trolling the internet and Sam Hyde are inextricably linked. People have put his name forward as being the mastermind behind COVID, being responsible for an explosion in Beirut, and as we have already covered, many mass shootings. One of the better known times that this happened was when his face was photoshopped onto a pilot claiming that he was the ghost of Kiev, with a congressman retweeting this stating, "The ghost of Kiev has a name and he has absolutely owned the Russian Air Force. Godspeed and more Samuel." The phrase MDE never dies is something you'll see in the comments of anything to do with Sam Hyde, and it would seem that this was prophetic. The fans would ask Sam if he would ever make up with Charles and do World Peace 2, but Sam would avoid the question as he didn't want to upset Charles or Nick. So the fans started to ask Charles this on his live streams, to which he said that he would never do World Peace 2, and if Sam tried to do this, it wouldn't be World Peace without him. Charles then said that he tried to patch things up with Sam, but Sam metaphorically spat in his face. Charles would also claim that Sam had intentionally sabotaged the show with his stunts, and Sam was warned to stop, but he never did. He then said that going to work with Sam would be something only a stupid, moron, maniac, insane, twisted freak would do. Charles claims that Sam destroyed everyone's lives with his actions and came out the other side with millions of dollars, while everyone else was left to pick up the pieces. In another live stream, Charles would get drunk and claim that Sam sells out his friends to get famous. Charles then breaks down crying, calling Sam a nerd and claiming that Sam pays people to make make up lies about him and his wife. After this live stream, Sam would go live and do a public apology to Charles, which seems to have done the trick, as Sam, Nick and Charles now live stream together and plan to do live shows with each other. An anonymous rich donor has also come forward to finance World Peace 2, which the trio are currently filming. Sam has had many controversies over the years. The main one, I guess, that we should look at first is that people call him a neo-German. Accusations of this kind are basically impossible to disprove for anyone, which is why this accusation is used so often to smear people, so bear that in mind as we go on. I'll try my best to give evidence for both sides so that you can make your own mind up. Sam was featured in an NBC documentary where it shows him burning Jewish books. Israeli flags, the Star of David and neo-German symbols appear in the comedy of Sam Hyde more than you would expect. He seems to have some kind of relationship with internet figure Richard Spencer. Sam was photoed with this guy doing a neo-German salute, and internet personality Nick Fuentes seems to be a big fan of Sam's. It is also claimed that Sam gave $5,000 to the defense fund of a neo-German named Andrew Anglin, who was the founder of a website named Daily Stormer. Sam has never confirmed or denied this as far as I can tell, and the only proof I could find of this was that someone donated this money to a GoFundMe under Sam's name. And given all the things that have been done online under Sam's name, it's hard to know if this one is true or not. But you'll hear a lot of people talking about it online like it definitely is him. Honestly, I don't know. As I said before, it's hard to disprove this kind of accusation, so there's not too much that I can bring up here. But as you may have guessed from his name, the epic mealtime boxer that Sam trained was Jewish. His name was Harley Morenstein. Sam has also appeared on the Michael Malice podcast, and they seem to get along well. Michael Malice is Jewish. Maybe Sam just did these things to help his career though. Probably the best case for him not being a neo-German is the fact that he's an edgy internet troll, and this is one of, if not the biggest taboos. So it would make sense for him to walk this tightrope. Maybe. Make your own mind up, as I said, I honestly don't know. Another little tidbit is that a pop star named Doja Cat was photoed wearing a t-shirt of Sam and got a lot of backlash for this. I'm too old to know who she is or really care, but she seems pretty famous, so I thought I'd include it. Sam has had a few online disputes over the years. One of these was with a well-known YouTuber named H3H3. This started when Sam claimed that H3H3 ripped off one of his sketches. This was in the early days of H3H3's channel, before he had a lot of subscribers. Both videos were a satire of people who act intellectual on the internet, and both have very similar editing styles. Sam had brought this up a few times, and this came to a head on a Reddit thread. Sam claimed that H3H3 was a hack who tried to steal his ideas. Then H3H3 replied confirming that he did in fact steal his ideas and expressed regret for this. H3H3 then posted that Sam is a toxic arsehole and claims that Sam's style is derivative of Tim and Eric. On a side note, Tim Heidecker, who asked his viewers to contact Adult Swim's advertisers, is the Tim in Tim and Eric. Anyway, H3H3 then claimed that the video in question is an old video that no one cares about and does not represent his channel in any way. Sam then denies that he is a toxic arsehole, and H3H3 then wishes Sam the best of his show on Adult Swim and confirms that it is probably just some fans that are the problem. Sam then says that it is in fact H3H3's fans that are the problem, and that Sam's fans follow a code of conduct. After this, Sam asks his fans to stop, and this seems to be where the dispute ends, apart from Sam bringing it up every now and again on live streams. Sam also calls out Joe Rogan to fight a lot, but as far as I know, Joe has never replied. There are allegations about Sam that I'm not going to spend too much time on, as they are based on screenshots that could have been photoshopped and photos that could be anything really. I only really bring it up as there are quite a few of these allegations, and they seem to be pretty well known across the internet. There is one part of this that I'll go through though, as it's kind of interesting. There is a woman named Channing Krieger who has been accusing Sam of stuff on the nowhere places of the internet for about 5 years now, with no one really listening. She apparently used to work with Sam and was his girlfriend. After 5 long years, a program called Mad at the Internet gave her a chance to tell her story, but she turned up clearly on something and unable to string together a coherent sentence. So the interview was ended. Shortly after this, she appeared on the extreme. This time she was sober, but honestly still a little incoherent. She has folders and folders of stuff about Sam. Some of it pretty extreme, but again it's stuff that's easily photoshopped like text messages. I didn't really know much about Sam Hyde before I made this video. I'd seen the TEDx talk, which I thought was pretty funny, and was aware of Fish Tank, having watched a few recap videos. Plus I'd watched a few bits and bobs here and there, as I planned to make a video a while back about him but got distracted and forgot about it, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. I wasn't expecting to like his old internet comedy and the Adult Swim World Peace show, but they are in fact pretty funny, and I look forward to seeing what World Peace 2 turns out like. When I first started I honestly thought that Sam was Jewish, which in retrospect is probably the wrong assumption, but I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that Sam is in fact left-wing and that all of this has been some kind of long game troll. Probably not, I guess. Sam is a difficult guy to get a grip on, and I guess this is by design. I feel like I've never seen the real Sam Hyde, even after doing all of the research for this video. Just when you think he's showing you his real self, he will say something to dispel that idea from your mind. You might say that Sam is a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde character. Sam's not the only comedic genius featured in this video, I see. I hate myself. It seems to me that the viewer is normally the punchline of Sam's jokes, and in the modern world things like racism are the biggest sin, with Sam being happy to play the part of the devil so that he can laugh at the people that don't get the joke. I get the sense that he feels like the real Sam Hyde is just not very interesting, so he creates these outlandish personas as they are more entertaining, which I guess is correct. Sam has said that he's not political, and in the early days he thought that he could help make the world a better place, but now thinks that this is not the case, and now he just wants to make his followers' lives better. Let's wish him the best with this, and hope that one day he gets to fight Hassan Piker.
Sam, or Mr. Hyde, I'd like to know what message you would like us to take away.
I prefer Mr. Hyde. I'd prefer it if you didn't call me Sam. If you called me Mr. Hyde, I'd prefer that. It's more formal. It shows that you fear me.
I'm not sure about fearing you, but...
Oh, are you sure about that? In a dark alley with me, lad?
Okay. Mr. Hyde.
Thank you, lad.
I'd like to know what message you would like us to take away from this exactly.
The message is... Hold on, they're beaming it to me. I'm receiving it. Message. I don't know. If you want something, just work hard. How about that?
I've realised that I'd never ask you guys to do the YouTube stuff, so tickle the like button and share and blah blah blah, you know the rest. It really helps. Watch this video about King Cobra JFS. Thanks for watching and bye bye.
Whoa, no.